Yo, Dream Team, it's your boy T Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with 15 things to know about Australians before moving to Australia. And before we dive into these 15 things, I need you guys to smash that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Where we go?
Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're talking about Australians. What are they like? What should you expect when you move here? If you're interested, keep watching. Something that caught my attention when I first came to Australia 7 years ago is that people are very friendly. I never forget my first week here. I was walking down the street, completely lost, looking for the supermarket, and suddenly a very lovely Australian couple approached me and they asked me, "Are you lost? Do you want some help?" And they helped me to find the supermarket. And how amazing was that? I didn't ask for any help, but they just came and helped me. And this friendliness is also reflected in the fact that they love small talk. Believe it or not, Australians love to talk to strangers, and that's another thing that really caught my attention. When you're on the tram, for example, people just start talking to each other or they make jokes. For example, if you're walking down the street, someone might yell, "Oh, nice t-shirt." It's so amazing. And I feel that this friendliness is also reflected on the fact that Australians call everyone mate. Cheers, mate. Cheers, buddy. How you going, mate? Good day, mate. And yeah, it makes you feel good.
Good day, mate.
So yeah, Australians are super friendly, super laid back.
I feel like the friendly thing when you talk about like just compliment, hey, nice t-shirt, or just talking to somebody. I feel like that's also a very American thing. So I feel like that's something that Australians and Americans have in common, because I experienced a lot of that. I feel like in my life, and I already knew the Australian people was incredible. I already knew they was awesome. I knew they was open. They was friendly. They were warm. Shout out to Australians. Y'all know how much I love you guys. Keep it rolling.
Good day, mate.
So yeah, Australians are super friendly, super laid back. And of course, in relation to that, Australians are also very informal. I'll give you an example. They love walking barefoot, even around the city. I saw that in my first week in Australia. I was about to cross the street and suddenly I have a girl standing next to me wearing a beautiful dress, but she was barefoot. They're so laid back and so free. And of course, informality is also reflected in the Australian slang and the shortening of words. For example, I'll see you this arvo, which means I'll see you this afternoon. I'm going to have brekkie now. I'm going to have breakfast now. The dress code is also very informal. Everyone wears flip-flops or thongs everywhere. Australians are also very respectful. And I talked about this in my video about Australian workplace culture. Australians are very respectful. They're always saying thank you, sorry, pardon, no worries, nice to meet you, please. In terms of respect, for example, it's considered super disrespectful if you go to a shop or to a restaurant and you complain about a product by yelling or swearing or insulting at the customer service representative or at retail staff.
That's a very American thing to do. Yell, complain, insult customer representatives in a store. Yeah. That is very disrespectful, and that is very American. It hurts for me to say it, but shout out Australia for treating everyone with respect, being laid back, being more chill. I mean, you guys are incredible. Yeah, we need to fix that one. Over here in America, that needs to be fixed.
At retail staff. So yeah, this is a society that really values respect and politeness. Another thing that you should know about Australians is that they make appointments for absolutely everything, whether it is to go to the doctor or to see a friend. I know that in some cultures you can just drop by your friend's house and say, hey, do you want to hang out? But not in Australia. Here usually you call your friends and you organize a time to see them during the week, but you don't pop up unannounced.
Thank you! Thank you! Don't do that. I hate when people do that to me, or like don't try to make plans with me like literally like the night before. Like you text me that day and be like, "Hey, tomorrow night you want to?" I need time. I need more time than a night notice, guys. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. If you wanna hang out, like I need like a week notice. I need like a week's notice so I can have everything straightened out and make sure that I have time and I have freedom during that time to not have to stress or worry about anything else. Give me like a week now. Hit me up on Monday. Hey, you wanna chill this weekend? You wanna do something this weekend? Bam, I'm all yours. But you hit me up on Friday and say, hey, you wanna chill tomorrow? I might have other things planned already. I like that. Australia's appointments for everything. Don't just drop by
during the week, but you don't pop up unannounced. And speaking of making appointments, usually it's considered rude if you are late. So that's another thing.
Yes.
Australians really value punctuality and being on time. Personal space and greetings. Australians really love their privacy and their personal space. So this means that if you're talking to someone, you do so by keeping a bit of distance. Or for example, if you're in line, you keep a bit of distance as well. Too much proximity sometimes can feel a bit uncomfortable. And this of course goes for greetings as well. When you meet someone for the first time, you don't kiss them on the cheek or you don't hug them. You usually say, hey, how you going? Or you shake their hands. If you know them and they're your friends, you can give them a hug, and that's usually the case, especially with women. Guys usually just shake hands, even if they know each other. Yeah. Also, when you shake someone's hand, and this is the first time you've met them, you usually say, nice to meet you too.
There you go.
Relationships, whether it is friendships or romantic relationships, usually take a bit of time to develop, and consent is something very important as well. You don't force anyone into an intimate relationship, and also bear in mind that both men and women are considered equals. Both people in the relationship have to be in agreement that they want to be with each other.
Yes.
If you're invited to someone's house here in Australia, the expectation is that you're going to reply, whether it is accepting that invitation or declining. But it is considered rude if you leave them hanging, wondering whether you're going to be able to make it or not. So always RSVP, that is reply to that invitation. If you're
I'm more of the maybe guy, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. You see that maybe line? That's usually because I'm like on Monday, I might want to go, no, but I know myself. And let's say the thing is on Friday. When Thursday comes around, I might say, I don't really want to go. So I hit that maybe because you never know. Because I gotta decide. You know what I'm saying? But usually, I'll force myself to. If I haven't been out in a while, I'll force myself to go. But always reply, yeah. Don't leave somebody hanging like that if you see it. Yes, I mean, I'm sure people aren't hurt if you just say you can't make it.
RSVP, that is reply to that invitation. If you're invited to someone's house or social gathering and they say bring your own, BYO, this means that they're expecting you to bring your own drinks. And this is the case for almost any social gathering here in Australia. Most people bring their own drinks because alcohol here is very expensive. Many times you'll also be asked to bring a plate, and that means to bring a dish of your liking to contribute to the table, and everyone shares the food. So this is very, very common. In terms of the dish that you can bring, usually finger food such as sausage rolls or pies would be okay, or even meat for the barbecue, or a pasta salad. Also, speaking of barbecues, it's very common in Australia to have a barbecue at the park to celebrate a birthday or an occasion with your friends, and you'll see that there are many public barbecues all along different parks, and that's something that I really love about Australia. And remember that Australians call barbecues barbies. Another very common social gathering in Australia is the housewarming party. And this caught my attention because it's not something common in my culture. But basically a housewarming party is that when you move into a new house, you host a party with your friends and you show them your new house, you show them the bedrooms, the living room, you have some drinks, some finger food, just talk. It's another excuse to really meet with people and socialize.
There you go. When the housewarming party happens, your friends usually bring gifts for your house. So, that's also a nice thing about housewarming parties. I feel like a lot of these things are very similar, like in American culture. They're don't get me wrong, there's some things that Americans need to work on that Australians have down. But a lot of these things It seems like it's very similar to what I'm used to already.
This talk, it's another excuse to really meet with people and socialize. Oh, and if you're invited for dinner here in Australia, dinner usually starts at 6 or 7 p.m. And don't be late. Remember that Australians really love punctuality. And if you're going to be late, let them know. In terms of food, Australians really love Vegemite, Tim Tams, smashed avocado, Indian food, fish and chips, Thai food, and any Asian food. Really, every time that I talk to my Australian friends and I say, what would you say it's a national Australian dish? It's very hard for them to really pinpoint what's the typical Australian dish because Australia is so multicultural. You'll find amazing dishes from lots of different cultures. You'd be surprised to hear, maybe not, but in Australia, kangaroo as well is a typical dish.
I gotta try it.
If you want to dine out, go to a restaurant. Usually restaurants close at 9:30, 10 p.m. and that's the latest. Which is really funny because I come from a Spanish culture and 10 p.m. is usually peak hour. Australians love their drinks, especially beer and wine. And they have a pretty strong drinking culture. And it seems that that's one of the main reasons as well why alcohol is so expensive here, because it's heavily taxed to discourage its consumption. Another drink that Australians love, especially here in Melbourne, is coffee. The coffee culture is huge and the coffee is so good.
Yeah, I've heard Australians like they have the best coffee in the world and they are like the greatest coffee culture. They take their coffee very seriously. Yeah, I've heard just absolutely incredible things about Australian coffee. That's so dope. I don't personally drink coffee, but if I went to Australia, I might just try it just because of all the great things I heard.
Huge. And the coffee is so good. Australians love environmental conservation. They really look after their parks and nature and wildlife. They're very environmentally conscious. Here, recycling is very common. For takeaway coffee, Australians usually use reusable cups, especially at work. No littering of the streets, parks. You always take a rubbish bag with you if you go camping, if you go hiking. There are very hefty fines if you litter. If you go camping, hiking, or you are in nature, the best way to behave is to follow the leave no trace principles. That is, don't disturb wildlife. If you find logs or dirt or flowers, just leave them in their place.
Yes.
Don't leave rubbish behind. Always take your rubbish bag with you. Playing music out loud at a campsite or at the beach is considered rude. But I'm going to make a video about the things that you shouldn't do here in Australia. So stay tuned. Another thing about conservation is that Australians are very conscious when it comes to saving water because there are many droughts around the country. So being mindful of the amount of water that you use when you take a shower. The rule is usually a 3-minute shower. Australia is a very...
3 minute? Oh yeah. Oh, I can't imagine the amount of Americans that would absolutely hate that part. Because, especially I feel like the ladies, no disrespect to the ladies in America, but some of y'all be in that shower, I'm talking 40, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, I feel like. It'd just be crazy. It'd be crazy. I'd be like, who showers for that long? Me? No, give me 5 to 10 minutes. Anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes in the shower. I'm good to go. I don't know about 3, but 5 to 10. But yeah, I feel like, that a lot of people would have.
The rule is usually a 3-minute shower. Australia is a very multicultural nation, and this means that they celebrate a lot of cultural festivities such as Chinese New Year, Diwali, and many others. Christmas in Australia is a public holiday, and Australians usually celebrate Christmas by having lunch with their family on the 25th of December. They don't usually celebrate Christmas Eve. The 26th of December is a public holiday as well in Australia, and this is called Boxing Day. Traditionally, this day represents a day when the rich give money and donations to those in need. But nowadays, Boxing Day is a day when most retail stores have huge sales on different products. Australians also celebrate New Year's Eve on the 31st of December, and you'll see firework shows all over the country. Especially, of course, the Sydney one is the most popular one across the world. Fun fact,
Really?
did you know that Australians are not allowed to set off their own fireworks? This is actually illegal in Australia.
Oh,
so if you were
wow.
expecting to buy your fireworks, I'm sorry to say, but you won't be able to do that. Australia Day,
that.
this is a public holiday that takes place on the 26th of January, which marks the day when British colonies arrived for the first time in the Australian continent. But this is a bit of a controversial date. And many people, especially the young ones, don't really celebrate Australia Day anymore. Because this day also marks the day when Aboriginal or First Nations people were brutally colonized by the newly arrived British colonies. And there are more and more social movements that are calling for this day to be completely abolished or changed. So bear that in mind. Every time 26th of January comes in, there's going to be a lot of movement around the country. Something that you should know is that Australians don't usually debate about politics or religion. In many countries, including mine, debating about all these issues is very, very common, especially when you're in social gatherings or with your family over the table. You usually debate about the things.
And those debates can get bad really fast. They can get out of hand really quickly. Really quickly.
You're in social gatherings or with your family over the table, you usually debate about the things. This is not the case in Australia. So if you're at work or just with your Australian friends, try to avoid these topics because it may make some people feel uncomfortable.
I like that.
If you want to find a topic to talk about in Australia, sports is your best bet, especially footy and cricket. If you don't know what footy is, this refers to the AFL or Australian football, and this is a sport unique to Australia. After 7 years of living here, I must be honest, I still don't get footy, but most of my Australian friends are crazy about footy. They go to the footy every weekend. They love it.
The AFL is absolutely incredible. I love watching the highlights, bro. It's super good.
I've been to 2 matches and I really love the atmosphere. And I think the beauty of this sport is that it's very family oriented. And because it's so family oriented, when you are there, there's no really aggression or violence, unlike other countries. People are cheering and they're mixing up with people from the other team and there's no aggression. So I highly recommend going at least to one footy match and experiencing the atmosphere and what it is like to be there. It's a very, very big part of the Australian culture. So this is all for now. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps to support the channel. If you have any questions or other topics that you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment below and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Adios. That was fun to react to. She's really cool. She seems like very nice and I like that. But that's all we got. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. I got social media and Patreon all up top. Subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal. Out.